Dear friends, we are in BBA, second year, Human Resource Management subject. In this subject, first unit is over. We are in second unit. This is the syllabus of second unit. Acquiring human resources planning and alignment, job analysis and design, job description, job specification and job evaluation, job restructuring, job rotation, job enlargement, and job enrichment, recruitment and selection, placement, induction and orientation, line and staff. So in this unit, we are in a human resource planning, that is HRP. In HRP, we have learnt the concept of HRP, certain definitions we have seen, and we will continue with HRP, that is human resource planning. We have already learned what resource means. Resource has potentials, abilities, capacities, and skills which can be developed. And with reference to human resource planning, it is a continuous process of systematic planning, a hedge to achieve optimum use of organization's most valuable asset, that is quality of employees. So this is the figure which describes the steps involved in human resource planning: analyzing organizational objectives, inventory of present human resources, forecasting demand and supply of human resource, estimating manpower gaps, formulating the final human resource action plan, monitoring, control, and feedback. These are the steps involved in human resource planning. So features of human resource planning: well-defined objectives will be there, determines the human resource needs, keeping manpower inventory. The gap will be identified between demand and the supply, creating proper work environment will be there, finding and attracting skilled employees will be there, selecting, training, and rewarding the best candidates is a feature of human resource planning. It helps in coping with absences and deals with conflicts, and it promotes employees or lets some of them go if promotion is not possible, or if the employee's performance is not up to the mark, up to the not expected standards. So factors affecting human resource planning. What are the factors that affect human resource planning? We will learn it now. Organizational growth cycle and planning. Organizational growth cycle and planning. This is the important factor which affects human resource planning. The stage of an organization's growth can have considerable influence on human resource planning. Small organizations which are just recently established, that is embryonic stage, in other words, may not have personal planning. Need for planning is felt when the organization enters the growth stage. So HR forecasting becomes essential, and internal development of people also begins to receive attention in order to keep up with the growth. A mature organization experiences less flexibility and variability. Growth slows down. The workforce becomes old as few younger people are hired. Planning becomes more formalized and less flexible and innovative. Issues like retirement and possible retrenchment dominate planning. Finally, in the declining stage, HRP takes a different focus. Planning is done for layoff, entrenchment, and retirement. Since decisions are often made after serious financial and sales shocks are experienced by the organization. Planning is often reactive in nature. Now you can see whatever I explained. This is organization's life cycle. Let us take, for example, growth cycle. Otherwise, this is embryonic stage. This is known as embryonic means embryo means you know with reference to living things, living beings. Embryo means just recently out of womb, mother's womb, or in a mother's womb. That is called as embryo. Okay, so this is recently established embryo. Okay, na? Now this is next stage. This is growth stage. This is maturity stage, maximum stage, and this is declining stage. This is growth stage. Embryo stage means almost in mother's womb, just like initial days. This is growth. This is maturity means topmost level. Now this is a declining stage. This stage is known as the declining stage. So human resource planning depends on the stage in which organization is there. It is embryo stage means planning is also not going to be full because just recently it has been established. Okay, only when organization enters in the growth stage, more planning is required for based on the expansion or based on the demand for the products or services. How many employees are to be recruited? That we have to discuss more thoroughly, more rigorously in the growth stage. So when maturity stage comes, there is less flexibility and variability in the organization. Growth slows down. The workforce becomes old now. See, already they have been recruited here in this stage or in this stage, and they become older and they have to get retired. The new employees have to be hired. So that is a challenge. So in these stages, more planning is required. Okay, in declining stage, layoff will be there, retrenchment will be there, and retirement. These three are going to be there: layoff, retrenchment, and retirement. Okay, about these words, we will learn in the coming lessons. Don't worry. Retirement, you know, employee after attaining certain age, he will be retiring from the organization. Means he will be taking rest as he became old. It is the time for him to take rest. Okay. Now coming to environmental uncertainties. So organizational growth cycle and planning is one of the factors which influences human resource planning and environmental uncertainties. See, human resource managers rarely have the privilege of operating in a stable and predictable environment. See, our environment is volatile. Every day it will change. Let us take, for example, because of lockdown in the recent months, how all the organizations across countries are affected by this pandemic situation. So environment is going to be uncertain. It is a very big challenge for human resource managers. So political, social, economical, and other changes affect all organizations. Personal planners deal with environmental uncertainties by carefully formulating retirement, selection, and training and development policies and programs. Balancing mechanisms are built into the human resource management program through succession planning. Succession planning, this word is very, very important. Succession planning. Succession means after one person's retirement or after one person transfer, how the organization copes and they will prepare other employees to fit into that role. Okay, that is succession planning. So succession planning, promotion channels, layoffs, flexi time, job sharing, retirement, VRS. VRS nowadays it is the buzzword, voluntary retirement from service. Okay, voluntarily certain organizations are offering packages to employees and asking them to retire from the organization after receiving the package. After lump sum amount, they are asking the employees to leave the job because there is no requirement of the personnel in the organization because of machinery, because of advancement in technology. Whatever human beings are able to perform, machinery is performed. So that is why VRS scheme has been playing a dominant role nowadays in the markets with reference to human resource planning. So VRS and other personal related arrangements will be made. So based on environmental uncertainty. Okay. Now, outsourcing. See, outsourcing is another aspect of human resource planning. Several organizations outsource part of their work to outside parties, either in the form of subcontracting or ancillarization. Outsourcing is a regular feature both in the public sector as well as in the private sector. Most organizations have surplus labor and they do not want to worsen the problem by hiring more people. Hence, the need for offloading. See, what it means is, I am explaining in simple words. See, this is an organization called WO. In this one, purchases department is there. So if you recruit personnel for purchases department, let us take for example, it requires 2 lakhs per month, making them to work in the organization. For purchases department in the organization, it takes 2 lakhs every month, whereas the organization has decided to give it to an agency. They will take care of purchases and they will supply in time to the organization. For this, they will be paid 1,20,000. So this is outsourcing. Whatever job that has to be performed by organization's employees, those works will be assigned to outsiders. So that whatever the expenditure is to be incurred in the form of salaries will lessen for the organization. That is known as outsourcing. Now, labor market situation. Next important factor. The labor market comprises people with the skills and abilities that can be tapped as and when the need arises. Thanks to the mushrooming of educational, professional, and technical institutions, adequately trained human resource is always available in the market. Nevertheless, shortages do occur. For example, let us take for example, the CII, it means the Confederation of Indian Industry. This is an association of Indian industries. It estimates that by 2015, India will be requiring 30 million additional skilled workers in sectors such as healthcare, banking, and financial services, retail, auto, construction. It is doubtful whether so many skilled workers would be available in the country. Okay, so with reference to labor supply, certain aspects need to be considered: the size, age, sex, and educational composition of the population. That is important. The size, age, sex, and educational composition of the population. The demand for goods and services in the country is to be estimated. The nature of production technology is to be taken into consideration. Employability of the people needs to be taken into consideration. All these factors play effective role. Now, next aspect is type of quality of forecasting information. The information used to forecast personal needs originates from a multitude of sources. The information used to forecast personal needs originates from a multitude of sources. A major issue in personal planning is the type of information which should be used in making forecasts. Forecast means estimation. Closely related to the type of information is the quality of data used. What is the data that we are using? How we are forecasting, how we are estimating. That is very, very important. Okay, time horizons. Yet another major factor affecting personal planning is the time horizon. On one hand, there are short-term plans spanning 6 months to 1 year. On the other hand, there are long-term plans which spread over 3 to 20 years. The exact time span, however, depends on the degree of uncertainty prevailing in an organization's environment. Plans for companies operating in an unstable environment, computer for example, must be for a short period. Plans for others where environment is fairly stable, for example, is a university plan, maybe long term. In general, the greater the uncertainty, the shorter the plan's time horizon and vice versa. See, if certainty is there means you can plan for a lengthy period. If there is lot of uncertainty, there is lot of volatility in the market, you cannot plan for a long term. Only short time plans we have to make. And then type and strategy of organization. The type of organization is very, very important that needs to be considered because it determines the production processes involved, number and type of staff needed, and the supervisory and managerial personnel required. Manufacturing organizations are more complex in this respect than those that render services. The strategic plan of the organization defines the organization's HR needs. For example, a strategy of organization growth means that additional employees must be hired. Acquisitions or mergers, on the other hand, probably mean that the organization will need to plan for layoffs, since mergers tend to create duplicate or overlapping positions that can be handled more effectively with fewer employees. Primarily, the organization decides either to be proactive or reactive in HRP. It can either decide to carefully anticipate the needs and systematically plan them to fill them far in advance, or it can simply react to needs as they arise. Of course, careful planning to fill HR needs better helps ensure that the organizations obtain the right number of HR people with proper skills and competencies when they are needed. See, you have to first of all see whether organization is in manufacturing sector, that is in the production sector or service sector. The production sector plays a vital role. Similarly, service sector also plays a vital role in the society. See, with reference to type and strategy of organization, manufacturing organizations place a lot of, they have to play with a lot of uncertainties in the market. So, with reference to HR planning, they face a lot of difficulties compared to service sector. So, when in order to manufacture goods, you require raw material, when they will come, how many employees are required to be engaged, they do not know properly. So they can choose a manufacturing sector or service sector can choose two options. Either they can be proactive or reactive. Proactive means in advance only they will think and they will plan and they will estimate everything and they will do as they wish. Reactive means they will be waiting, they will be watching the proceedings. As they come, they plan and they will immediately implement. So proactive approach is normally long-term approach, whereas reactive is short-term. Immediately they will look at the market and they will plan. That is reactive. Proactive means in advance they think and they will plan. So these are the factors which influence human resource planning. Organizational growth cycle and planning, environmental uncertainties, outsourcing, labor market, type of quality of forecasting information, time horizons, type and strategy of organization. These are the factors. As you all know, apart from these social factors, cultural factors, economic factors, all these forces play a major role in HRP, that is human resource planning. Coming to human resource planning process, how it will take place, we will discuss. First of all, any organization works in environment. Without in environment only organization works. Similarly, human resource planning is part and parcel of an organization. So naturally, automatically, it also works in environment, surrounding environment. Okay? Organizational objectives go, policies will be framed initially. Okay. So in this one, two are going to be very crucial. HR needs forecast. Human resource needs are forecast means estimated. Forecast, estimate. Then supply is also forecast. What are the requirements with reference to human resources? How many employees are to be recruited? What are the available sources in the market? That is HR supply forecast. And based on that one, human resource programming will be there. It's how to recruit, what are the steps, everything will be there. HR programming will be there. Okay. Then coming to HRP implementation. Implementation requires converting an HR plan into action. A series of action programs are initiated as a part of action program. Some such programs are recruitment, selection and placement, training and development, retraining and redeployment, the retention plan, the redundance plan, and the succession plan. All these actions will be covered in detail in the next chapter. Please remember what are they: recruitment, selection, succession plan, redundant plan, retention plan, redeployment. All these, about all these we will learn in the next chapter. Okay, recruitment, selection, and placement. These concepts we will learn in deep. Okay, in the coming chapter. Usually, companies hire for specific job openings. However, some companies hire a group of qualified individuals, not for specific jobs. In these cases, the groups of trainees move through a variety of assignments over a year or two, and then they are placed on specific jobs. An effort is made to match individual job preferences and qualifications with organizational needs. Employees are hired when there are job vacancies. However, employers should consider other alternatives of hiring additional full-time employees. Okay, so all these are part and parcel of human resource planning implementation. Then control and evaluation programs. After their recruitment is over, we have to control them. We have to evaluate their services, how they are performing. Okay, this is actually the final stage in human resource planning process. Control and evaluation represents the fifth and the final phase in the HRP process. The HR plan should include budgets, targets, and standards. It should also clarify responsibilities for implementation and control and establish reporting procedures which will enable achievements to be monitored against the plan. These may be reported on the number of employed persons against establishment, identifying both those who are in post and those who are in pipeline. Means they are not exactly given job tasks, but they are in waiting. That is what you mean by saying pipeline, not water pipeline. Okay, and on the numbers recruited against the recruitment targets, but they should also report employment costs against budget and trends in wastage and employment ratios. So all these things will be there. How to evaluate, how they have to control the employees. Okay, based on their performance, they can be transferred, they can be promoted, they can be demoted, or they can be given, they can be offered a voluntary retirement package. So everything will be there. These are the steps. And see, if shortage is there, after evaluation, if shortage is there, you will go for recruitment, you will go for selection. If surplus is there, okay, I told no, VRS will be there. VRS is an option, layoff is an option, reduced hours, we will reduce working hours, restricted hiring, whatever outsourcing services, whatever hiring services are there, you will see to it that their services are restricted. So this is the process of human resource planning. Okay, human resource planning process. You can see environment scanning will take place. Human resource needs will be forecast. Human resources supply will be forecast. HR programming will be there. Okay, means HR programming means once an organization's personal demand and supply are forecast, the two must be reconciled, the two must be compared and balanced in order that vacancies can be filled by the right employees at the right time. That is what we mean by saying human resource programming. So based on comparison between the two, reconciliation between the two, you will estimate the number of vacancies that are going to arise in the near future. Okay, they should be filled with the right number of people at the right time. Okay, so this is the third step. First stage is human resource needs forecast. Second stage is supply forecast. Third is programming. Fourth is implementation. Fifth is control and evaluation of programs. This in control and evaluation, you can see if surplus is there, you will take these steps. If shortage is there, you will take these steps. Okay, I hope you understood the process of human resource planning. So coming to next topic, that is job analysis. Okay, what is a job? Before we go to job analysis, we should know what is job analysis. A job means a group of homogeneous tasks. Homogeneous means similar tasks. It consists of duties, responsibilities, and task performance elements, which are defined and specific and can be accomplished, quantified, measured, and rated. Whatever duties, whatever responsibilities, whatever task performance that is assigned to individuals in an organization, those tasks, those duties, those responsibilities are clearly defined. They are clearly specific and can be accomplished. They can be achieved. They can be quantified, means numbered. They can be measured, whether they are achieved or not. Whether they have performed their duty or not, we can measure. Whether they are able to fulfill their responsibility or not, we can measure. And they can be rated. So in comparison with other persons, how they are performing, they can be rated. Their performance can be rated. Okay, similarly, their performance can be rated against their previous performance, against last month's performance, how they have performed this month. You can make a comparison. So that is what you may be saying in job. So it is a group of homogeneous tasks. Homogeneous means similar in nature. Heterogeneous means opposite in nature, difference you can observe. Okay. Now job analysis, coming to job analysis. We know what job means. The group of homogeneous tasks which consists of duties, responsibilities, and task performance elements, and they can be clearly defined, specific, and can be accomplished, quantified, measured, and rated. So coming to job analysis, what do you mean by, we came to know about job. Okay, job analysis, you can see it is a combination of two words, job and analysis. Job, we came to know, job is a group of similar tasks, homogeneous tasks. Analysis means a detailed study or examination of something in order to understand more about it. So here in that case, we are doing our analysis with reference to job. Okay, analysis means a detailed examination or a detailed study. So job analysis is to understand more about a specific job in order to optimize it. What is optimization? Several times I told, again I am repeating. Again I am explaining. Optimization implies maximum output with minimum resources. That is optimization. Maximum with minimum. Maximum output with minimum resources. Okay. It is a systematic process of collecting a complete information pertaining to a job. It is done by a job analyst who is a trained officer. So totally, thoroughly, job requirements will be studied. Complete information will be given relating to a job. Okay, this job analysis task is performed by a job analyst. Means what are the tasks that are involved, what are the responsibilities, what are the roles, what are the duties that have to be performed by the person who was hired in a particular job. Okay, what are the educational qualifications required, what are the technical qualifications required, what are the other qualities required for a person to perform a particular job. Everything will be analyzed. What are the duties, what are the responsibilities that are associated with a particular job position will be analyzed. Everything will be clearly defined in job analysis. That is what we mean by saying job analysis. Okay? Job means a group of homogenized tasks, and analysis means a systematic study to understand more about a particular thing. In our case, it is job. So in job analysis, these are parts. Employee role, how, what are the tasks that make up a job, conditions under which an employee performs his job. He has to perform his job under what conditions, whether in AC room or in underground canal, where he has to perform. What exactly a job requires in terms of aptitudes, attitudes, knowledge, skills, educational qualifications, and the physical working condition of the employee. Everything will be analyzed, everything will be studied. Okay, these are various definitions of job analysis. Daily order. A job is a collection of duties, tasks, and responsibilities which are assigned to an individual and which is different from other assignments. Okay, so in job analysis, all these will be there. Collection of a job, we know it is a collection of duties, tasks, and responsibilities which are assigned to an individual and which is different from other assignments. In what way it is different? It will be known if you conduct job analysis. Okay, one job is different from another job. Let us take for example, a lecturer's job is different from an attender's job. An attender's job or a lecturer's job is different from a principal job. How they are different? If you conduct job analysis, you will come to know. Michael J. Gusius, job analysis refers to the process of studying the operations, duties, and organizational aspects of jobs in order to derive specification, or as they are called by some job description. Okay. So studying the operations, duties, and organizational aspects of jobs in order to derive specification. Okay. More or less, all have defined that it studies duties, responsibilities, operations involved in a particular job. And Blum, a job analysis is an accurate study of the various components of a job. It is concerned not only with an analysis of the duties and conditions of work, but also with the individual qualifications of the worker. Okay. John A. Shubin, job analysis is the methodological compilation of the study of work data in order to define and characterize each occupation in such a manner as to distinguish it from all others. Job analysis is the process of critically evaluating the operations, duties, and relationships of the job as defined by Scott, Cloutier, and Fraser. So, if you put together all those definitions pertaining to job analysis, it comes down to this. What has to be performed? What has to be performed? When has to be performed? Where it has to be performed? How it can be performed? See, what is the nature of the job? What the person who is employed has to perform? When he has to perform? On which day what task is to be accomplished? Where? Whether in AC room or in canal or in a tunnel or underground or where? How it can be performed? What are the tools that are required to perform, to accomplish the job? All these things are part and parcel of job analysis. So job analysis is a thorough study of what has to be performed, how it has to be performed, where it has to be performed, when it has to be performed, what is to be accomplished in a particular job. So today, dear friends, we have learned about the process of human resource planning. We have revised the steps involved in human resource planning. And not only that, we have come to know about the factors affecting human resources planning. And after human resource planning topic is over, we came to know about job, came to know about analysis, and we are discussing about job analysis. In the next class, we will discuss more about job analysis. Thank you very much, dear friends.